break this down where we're at and kind of your point of view.
Yeah, listen, my point of view has been pretty honest on Twitter. Just from like a hip hop perspective, I think this is the most. We always would use jaw rule as like a verb, like, oh, you got jaw ruled or whatever. Like, I feel like this is just like miles and miles beyond the jaw rule thing. Like, there was supposed to be a petition for like information that was like I think it was late last week or early this week. No, it was late last week. Essentially, they were like trying to get information from Spotify and from iHeartRadio, and Drake was accusing like essentially, treatment that was benefiting Kendrick and not him from all these platforms, whether it was radio, whether it was the streaming services.
But that same treatment has benefited Drake throughout his career.
Oh, for sure. But also so that got thrown out, and then a new official suit was filed for defamation, which I thought was interesting because some of the stuff in there was just funny. Like, he accused Kendrick of being anti-Semitic when he had the colonizer line, because Drake's obviously has Jewish heritage. And then he compared Not Like Us. He called it the 2024 version of Pizzagate.
Jesus.
Which was like the QAnon conspiracy theory.
Right.
And so it's just like a lot of like big reaches. And like, speaking from somebody who like plays a lot of Drake on the radio, played a lot of Kendrick on the radio, like, Not Like Us is a hit record. Like,
Period.
You just can't, like, it just is what it is.
Period.
You cannot bot your way to a number one record. You cannot like fake your way to culture. You know what I'm saying? And so I just think that, Drake probably thought that, I don't know who was advising him in terms of like going forward with this lawsuit and the optics of it. And, maybe the beef did affect his negotiation pull with Universal because he was in the middle of negotiating a deal. But I think the after effects of his perception now moving forward will probably cost him way more money than this lawsuit could ever get him, even if he wins the lawsuit. So
I would argue that his reaction to the loss has hurt his reputation more than the actual loss did.
100%.
Because at the end of the day, he's still Drake. I'm a huge Drake music fan. Always have been. He's held it down for the light skin, but it's hard to condone and back some of these, a lot of the moves he's making. Posts, like you said, who's in his corner condoning this? But I would say you took the L in the, and let's keep it real. Up until Not Like Us, it was a coin flip. Who was winning?
I disagree, but I see the
I'm not mad. I'm a huge Kendrick fan, but I also fuck with Drake and the fact that Drake took on not just Kendrick, he took on a bunch of people.
I said, what's funny? I said that. I said like when Push-Ups came out, which was like right after, well, not right after, but Like That dropped. It took a while for Drake to respond. He was on tour, and then Push-Ups came out, and he kind of had to respond to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So he had Smoke for the Weekend, and he had
everybody.
And so once Push-Ups dropped, I said, well, you know what? Like, that was kind of playful. Euphoria came out, and it just was like a real, like 5-minute long, like he really kind of deconstructed Drake as a human. And then also predicted so much of what was going to happen.
Come on, man.
And, I think we also forget that Drake, he kind of did some whole shit. I mean, he did an AI version of Tupac and Snoop.
Crazy.
And we just forget about that.
Yeah.
And then he pretty much, he did accuse Kendrick of beating his wife. He accused Kendrick's best friend of being his
baby, his
kid's dad. Yeah. And so for me, it's like, obviously those things were within like, the bounds of a hip hop beef, because as we know in hip hop, like there's nothing.
It is what it is. Nothing off limits.
There's nothing off limits. And so, did Tupac ever fuck Faith Evans? I don't think we ever got a yes or no on that, but he said it, and it just is what it is.
Right.
And so I just think that now, and the other thing is he replied to Not Like Us.
Yeah.
He put out the Heart Part 6, and that shit was booty cheeks. So it's like, dude, if he, like you said, if he would have just kept it moving, I thought he was kind of on that path because he jumped on the Sexy Red record and kind of made fun of the BBO Drizzy thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'd forgive. It
like
wouldn't
everything.
matter.
Like everything.
Like people take L's.
I mean, his back-to-back on Meek was tough.
He smoked Meek.
Tough, but Meek did what he had to do, head down, released his own shit, and then now
Yes.
it is, now it is what it is. So I kind of felt, obviously, with Drake's talent, that could have happened. But I feel like the path he's taken post L, to me, on the outside, the public perception, because that's what we live by these days. I mean, he's harmed himself more than the L could ever harm him.
And nobody has benefited more from the machine than Drake. I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even a discussion. I think they said when Scorpion came out, whenever that was, I think it was 2018, 2019. It was around the time the Rockets or the Raptors won the finals. But he had every major Spotify playlist cover at the same time when that album dropped.
Incredible.
So it's like, wait, so the machine worked for you then. You weren't bitching then. You know what I mean? And so to me, it's just some real, respectfully, like, bitch ass shit for real. Like, I don't understand
it's tough.
Because like you said, Drake's an amazing artist. He's the biggest hit maker ever. He's the most prolific hit maker we've ever had.
Will his music have the same effect moving forward?
No. I think Drake better hope that the pop fans and the girls don't give a fuck.
No, not at all.
But even then, it's like, even the girls are probably looking at like,
that's some corny shit.
It's just a little hard to like, because Drake will do the tough guy talk on some of these records. It's like, you just can't, there's just a certain amount, like, Drake can't make certain types of records now without people looking at him like he's crazy.
I had the same thing. I'm like, because at the time he had the ear of the streets at some points on some of his records. Not all of them, but he's been able to play both sides. He's been able to walk both sides. But I don't think you could do that no more.
I think it's over, man. I think because if you think about Drake is there's nobody, you can't get bigger than Drake.
Nope.
So when we think about Ja Rule was huge, but he wasn't Drake huge.
He was ahead of his time, but go ahead, it's a whole nother story.
But it's like, now it's like, we're going to look back and be like, damn, Kendrick, like, not like us, literally, like, derailed Drake.
That's crazy.
And made us all think about him differently. Because look, Nas beat Jay-Z, right? I mean, and there's a toss up in terms of like, when you listen to Takeover versus Ether, which song aged better, all that. But at that time, the perception was Nas won.
Yeah.
And then even when the Blueprint 2 came out, people weren't, because Jay was still taking slight shots to Nas on Blueprint 2. But Jay wasn't like, Jay just weathered the storm, bro.
He took it like a G and kept it moving.
Bro, that was it. And to me, it's like, people lose battles.
That's it.
It's competitive. It's competitive.
It's almost a sport, and everybody's bound to lose. Drake hasn't lost much, but he took an L. But just the way he went out with,
this is the second time he's lost. Shout out to Pusha T, but
so he doesn't take many. This episode is brought to you by Boost Mobile.
Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network. I know we stay joking, but let me take a second to put on my serious voice, because this isn't a joking matter. Me personally, I would never joke about a 5G network that has invested billions in building 5G towers across the country.
Me neither.
Not even once.
Me neither.
Feel me?
Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store for more information.
The Boost Mobile network, together with our roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds not available in all areas.